A woman traveled to Hillsborough and Manatee counties where she shot and killed both of her ex-husbands. These murders happened yesterday afternoon, and right now,
2 phone calls point 2 different police departments point 2 dead men. They lived in different counties. They had separate lives. They had no connection to each other. Except one. Both men had once been married to the same woman. Both had divorced her. Both were shot to death inside their homes on the same day, within hours. Detectives didn't see it at first. Different jurisdictions. Different crime scenes. But when records were pulled and timelines compared, the coincidence collapsed. When investigators identified the one person legally connected to both victims, they went to her house. What she said next would become central to the case. Which one? This is the Susan Avalon case, and the day 2 ex-husbands died. The call came in just after 7 p.m. Manatee County deputies were dispatched to a quiet residential home. NO reports of a disturbance. NO neighbors reported gunfire. The front door was slightly open.
3 p.m. Wednesday in the Heritage Harbor neighborhood of Bradenton. Manatee County deputies found a man at his home with a gunshot wound, and they asked him,
"Who could have done this to you?" And he says, "Possibly my ex-wife."
That man later died at the hospital. But his teenager, who was home at the time of the shooting, told detectives the suspect drove off in a Honda Odyssey.
Just hours later, Tampa police received another call. Another man. Another home. Another homicide. The victim was also in his 50s. He had been shot multiple times. He was found inside his residence. Again, no forced entry. No ransacking. No signs of random violence. The victim had opened his door. At first, there was no reason to link the cases. Different counties. Different police departments. Florida sees violent crime. 2 shootings in one night didn't immediately raise alarms. Until investigators started checking records. Both victims were divorced. That alone meant nothing. But both men had been married to the same woman. That changed everything. Marriage records confirmed it. Divorce filings confirmed it. 2 ex-husbands, same ex-wife, killed on the same day. Detectives from both counties began coordinating. The cases were no longer separate. They had a shared legal connection. Her name was Susan Avalon. Once Susan Avalon's name appeared in both case files, investigators rebuilt the day from the ground up. License plate reader data showed a vehicle registered to her near the Manatee County home around the time of the first killing. Hours later, the same vehicle was recorded traveling toward Hillsborough County. Cell phone location data matched the movement. Her phone connected to towers in Manatee County during the first homicide window. Then those pings moved north, toward Tampa. The timing was precise. Not approximate. Not speculative. She was in the right places at the right times. Twice. Detectives went to Susan Avalon's residence. They told her they needed to speak with her about her ex-husband. She didn't ask what happened. She didn't ask why police were there. She asked one question. Which one?
there are a number of scenes here.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You can see one of them behind us here now. Those familiar with the situation tell us this house is where it all started, and neighbors say they could hear it.
Tonight, investigators across Hillsborough and Manatee counties are still trying to answer the question why, after 51-year-old Susan Avalon allegedly shot and killed both of her ex-husbands within a 4-hour span.
Those 2 words were documented. Prosecutors later argued the statement showed awareness. Not a confession, but knowledge. The defense would later argue shock or confusion. But timing mattered. Both ex-husbands were already dead. Ballistics testing confirmed both victims were killed using the same caliber ammunition. The murder weapon was never recovered, but the wounds were consistent. Both men were shot from close range. Both were caught off guard. Both had turned away from the door. Scene reconstruction showed similar positioning, similar entry points, similar trajectories. These were not chaotic shootings. They were controlled, intentional. Susan Avalon was arrested at her residence without incident. She did not resist. She did not flee. She was charged with second-degree murder in Manatee County. Hillsborough County prosecutors later pursued charges related to the second killing. At her first court appearance, prosecutors presented cell phone location data, license plate reader evidence, forensic analysis, the documented statement to police. The judge found probable cause. Bond was denied. Susan Avalon was ordered held without release pending trial. The state did not need motive. They focused on pattern. 2 victims, same relationship history, same day, same method, same defendant. Prosecutors argued the killings were deliberate and sequential. One county, then another.
The investigation turned to the victim's ex-wife, Susan Avalon.
The suspect owes the victim about $4,000 that we find out in child support. So she becomes our primary target. And she, ironically, owns a silver Honda Odyssey.
Manatee County deputies went to Avalon's house in Citrus County, where they reportedly watched the 51-year-old carry bleach out to her Honda Odyssey. Then they approached her.
Detectives let her know that they are there to speak about her ex-husband. She says, which one?
Manatee investigators learned Avalon has another ex-husband who lives in Tampa. So they asked Tampa police to swing by his home, where officers discovered
this second ex-husband has also been shot and killed.
Tampa police confirmed they are investigating a homicide at a home on East Frierson Avenue after the Manatee County Sheriff requested Tampa officers go there for a welfare check.
And for now, Susan Avalon has been charged with second-degree murder by the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. But I'm told the sheriff is seeking a first-degree murder indictment through the grand jury process. As for the case itself, surveillance video from Panera Bread and license plate readers played a big role. So we'll dive deeper into that tonight coming up at 6 o'clock.
They argued location data does not prove action. The weapon was never recovered. Same caliber ammunition is common and no witnesses saw her pull the trigger. They also fought to separate the cases. The court disagreed. The cases were ruled sufficiently connected to be presented together. Both men had moved on from their marriages. They lived separately. They had their own routines, their own lives. Neither had contact with the other. Neither expected a knock on the door that night. Both opened it anyway. The weapon has not been found. Investigators still don't know what was said at either door. There is no recorded conversation. No witnesses. And the most difficult question remains unanswered. Why that day? 2 men died within hours. 2 crime scenes became one case. 1 defendant remains in custody. A jury will decide guilt. But the timeline is fixed. The movement is documented. The connection is undeniable. Sometimes motive is unclear, but patterns are not. And sometimes, the truth isn't spoken loudly. Sometimes, it's revealed in 2 quiet words. Which one?